left. This is our final childish book. And wanted this one to be a little more relaxing and easy because, it's the end of the school year. So, this Friday is the last day of school for Batavia, and I know that nobody really wants to do any more reading or anything else that resembles school. So I wanted to be kind of at the end of this. Don't need any more school right now. Which reminds me, next week we're going to be starting a new series called Summer School. For the next 9 weeks, we are going to be studying different subjects of school because nobody really needs that much break, right? So I hope you're excited for that. And to make school more exciting, because, if we're going to do school, we got to have quizzes. We're going to have pop quizzes. And I want to kind of prep you on what this is going to look like because this will happen throughout the next 9 weeks. If you were right now to go on your phones, if you have data on your phone, if you go to livestreamcc.com/quiz, and I'll give you a second to do that, that's the website link that every Sunday will change to whatever the pop quiz is for whatever subject we're studying. Next Sunday we are studying language arts, and I hope you're really excited for that because that's one of my favorite things to study, conjugating and diagramming, and oh man, those things are fun, aren't they? Jackie loves it. I can tell she does. So anybody able to see it right now? Can you see it? So the quiz on that page is asking you which of the books that we've done so far do you like the best? Which one was your favorite children's book to study? And I'm sure we all have our favorites. I know the ones that I cared about the least just because of the way they kind of laid out, but I really, really loved the Goldilocks and the Three Dinosaurs. And again, I would recommend that you go get that from your library or buy it or whatever, because it's a really cool, sarcastic version of the Goldilocks story. But you can go ahead and vote on that. If you want to take a second to do that a little later, you're going to have some time during this story because this version, we're going to do another, because we have the video working, we're going to do a read-along video story for the story Hermie, A Common Caterpillar. That's today's book. And I'm almost going to guarantee nobody in this room has even read this book or possibly even heard of it. This is actually a Christian book written by a Christian author. So you're going to notice there are some pages in it that are very deliberately Christian pages, but it is still a talking caterpillar. So it makes it kind of fun and children's like. So maybe you want to grab another little bit to eat or something while you're watching this. It's longer than I wish it would be, and I can't make it faster. I'm sorry. It's about 14 minutes, but you get the entire story. So I hope you enjoy Hermie, A Common Caterpillar. She has a pleasant voice. I don't know what other books she's read out on the video, but it was okay. Who didn't see that coming, though, really? That's just what caterpillars do, right? I would say Hermie, A Common Caterpillar is a common caterpillar story. Before reading any of it, you can almost assume what's going to happen. If the main character is a caterpillar, because we know what happens to caterpillars, that something's going to happen in that book that you can predict, and it's going to change either the outcome for the total story, or the character is going to change his own outcomes on life, his own reflections of the situation. Caterpillars become butterflies. That's what they do. We know this. Caterpillars transform into butterflies. And that metaphor becomes a very common metaphor to use, like Hermie, A Common Caterpillar. It is a very common metaphor. In fact, that's why I chose the caterpillar book, and I didn't really even care which caterpillar book we did, because all of them that are caterpillars, they turn into butterflies. It's perfect for this Sunday, because in about 90 minutes, the high school graduates for Batavia are going to be walking down an aisle and graduating themselves, and they're going to hear speeches using caterpillar metaphors probably, because that's just a very common thing that happens. It's a very common metaphor. Just like this. As your principal, I watched you all start out there at Lincoln High, caterpillars in your cocoon of stability. Over the last 4 years, your chrysalis has hardened, and now, if you listen closely, I can almost hear your cocoons opening. I see before me monarch butterflies, ready to take off into that great adventure that I like to call life. That's the opening dialogue of a movie. Anybody know what movie that is? Starring Pauly Shore from the 90s? That is Son-in-Law. You don't need to watch it. It's not worth it. But it gives you the setup that everything that we know of graduation, everything that we do in those processes, it's about moving on to something new and transforming and becoming something special. And all the speeches that are given at graduation are, reach for the stars and be the most special thing you can, and fly above everything and shoot for your dreams and get so excited about what's going to happen. No one ever really gives the speech at graduation that things are going to be normal for the most part. A lot of your life is going to be very common, and that's okay. And since I may never get to do it, I'm going to do my own graduation speech now. Because I may never get asked to do a graduation speech. Ever. Thanks, Owen, for letting me steal your gown that he had no idea I stole. Should I zip it? I'll zip it. Students, faculty, honored guests, Kurt, good morning. I'd like to talk to you about a concept that is often overlooked in our fast-paced, achievement-oriented society. You are going to grow up to be ordinary. I'm sorry if that's not what you wanted to hear on the day that you leave to start a new adventure in this real world, but it's important to address it. In a world that constantly celebrates extraordinary achievements and exceptional talents, being normal can sometimes feel like a shortcoming. However, embracing normalcy is not only okay, but it is also a vital part of a balanced and fulfilling life. Let me highlight 3 key points to illustrate why being normal in adulthood is not only acceptable, but commendable. First, let's talk about our professional lives. The majority of jobs that keep our society functioning are not extraordinary by conventional standards. They do not involve fame, fortune, or groundbreaking innovation. Instead, they are everyday jobs that ensure our communities run smoothly. Teachers, nurses, customer service representatives, office workers, tradespeople, among many others, they all play crucial roles in our society. These jobs may not make headlines, but they are the backbone of our communities. Imagine a world without teachers shaping young minds, without healthcare workers providing care and comfort, without the diligent efforts of those who maintain our infrastructure and deliver essential services. These roles are indispensable, and the people who fill them deserve our respect and gratitude. There's immense dignity in fulfilling these roles with dedication and pride. The second point is that grown-up activities are predominantly grounded in routine. As adults, much of our time is spent managing responsibilities that are far from glamorous. Paying bills, grocery shopping, taking care of children, maintaining a household. These are activities that fill our days. While social media might make it seem like everyone else is living a life full of excitement and adventure, the reality is that most adults engage in very routine activities. And there's nothing wrong with that. These routines provide structure and stability, forming the foundation of our daily lives. They allow us to build a sense of normalcy and security, which is essential for mental and emotional well-being. It's in these ordinary moments that we often find the greatest contentment and peace. The comfort of a home-cooked meal, the satisfaction of a completed task, the joy of spending time with loved ones. These are the things that truly enrich our lives. Lastly, achieving a balanced life in itself is a remarkable feat. Balancing work, family, personal interests, and self-care is not easy. It requires time management, prioritization, and often lots of sacrifices. Striving for balance is an ongoing process, and it's one of the most important aspects of a fulfilling life. A balanced life allows us to be present for the people we care about, to pursue hobbies and interests that bring us joy, and to take care of our physical and mental health. It's about finding harmony between our ambitions and our everyday responsibilities. Achieving this balance is a testament to our resilience and our ability to manage the complexities of adult life. In conclusion, being normal in adulthood is not only okay, but it is also deeply valuable. Most jobs and grown-up activities might not be extraordinary by society standards, but they are essential for the functioning and well-being of our communities and ourselves. Embracing normalcy allows us to find satisfaction in our routines, contribute meaningfully to society, and achieve a balanced and fulfilling life. Thank you. That's the pep talk we all need every once in a while, right? We don't always need to be reaching for stars. We don't need to be dreaming big, big dreams when 99% of your day is getting through the day with the things that are in front of us, the things that God has given us to be in front of us for this day. Not saying dreaming is not a good thing. It's a good thing to dream. And it's a good thing to be exceptional in the ways that you do your everyday routines. You just have to live those everyday routines, because the motivation should not be to reach for the stars, but to realize that the stars are not where we live. We are here. We live here. Let's be here and do a really good job at being here. Right? Colossians 3:23, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters, since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward. It is the Lord Christ you are serving. We don't need to be rock stars. We don't need to be shooting for this goal of let's be above everybody else and be on a pedestal and like be superior in every way and be the master of some sort of specialty and skill that no one else can do, or the best of the thing. Because we need to be witnesses to the everyday people in the everyday places that we are. Again, we need to be exceptional in the place that we are living. John 17:13-14. I am coming to you now, but I say these things that while I am still in this world, so that they may have full measure of my joy within them. I have given them your word, and the word has hated them. For they are not of the world any more than I am of the world. God has called us to share his word with the world, not to place ourselves above it. We can't be his ambassadors if we're not around the people to be ambassadors to them. We can't reach to be above everyone and excel in everything more than anyone else ever has, because here is where we are. Jesus never tried to be a public spectacle for the people. He wanted to be with them. He wanted to help them. He didn't want notoriety for it. He didn't want to be marked as exceptional in any way for the things that he was doing with the people as he encountered the people. The scripture from Mark where he heals the deaf man is a wonderful example of that. Just one verse here, Mark 7:33. After he took him aside away from the crowd. He didn't do this in front of the crowd. The crowd is there. He takes him aside away from the crowd. Jesus puts his fingers into the man's ears. And then he spit and touched the man's tongue. He's doing a thing that is very obviously something that people would look at and go, wow, that makes you special. But Jesus is knowing in this moment that he's in this world with these people at this time. He cannot allow himself to be seen as something more exceptional, because that would take him away from it. People would start to pull at him and persecute him, and he would find himself being isolated again because he would be seen as too exceptional to be able to do the work that he was trying to do. It's okay to be normal. It's okay to be in the world doing the normal things, because that allows you to be with the people that God wants you to be with. We can only continue to be effective for the kingdom as regular members. When you get placed on a pedestal, more people will try to knock you down and disrespect you. This world is ours to live in, to be effective in. We need to be effective in it together. All of us working together as his body for his will. We are part of his flock, right? We are a part of his flock. And while much of that flock does seem ordinary, a lot of the things that sheep do, very typical day, a sheep is going to do pretty much the same things every day. 99% of it's all going to be the same normal things. It's important to understand that that flock is together. That flock is a flock because they are together. And they're under the watch of the shepherd. John 10, 14, 15. I am the good shepherd. I know my sheep, and my sheep know me. Just as the Father knows me, and I know the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. We are his. This is our place to be. And I'm sorry if ordinary is not something that you're excited about. Whether you graduated from high school last year or in 90 minutes or 75 years ago.
There's nothing scheduled today.
Siri, I'm not talking to you. You may have graduated decades ago or just yesterday. No matter what, God's still working on you. He's not finished with you yet. and he's making your heart like his.